My mom decided to drop the news over dinner. You're actually not my son. Well, that's one way to wreck the whole evening, right? Everything I thought was true about my life turned out to be a lie, and trust me, that's just the tip of the iceberg. What I found out later flipped my reality upside down, but let's start from the beginning. My name's Jake. I'm 24, and let's be real, my life's been pretty average so far. I've got a regular job in a boring-ass firm, live in a tiny house, and sometimes hit the bar with the guys to unwind after a long day. Nothing special, right? Well, that's what I thought. Until one day, when I dragged myself home after a nightmare of a day, where my boss basically treated me like his personal punching bag. You know the drill. Deadlines, complaints, the usual grind. Normally my mom's waiting for me in the kitchen, ready to give me an earful for something trivial. Like coming home late or leaving dirty dishes in the sink. Standard mom stuff. But this time, something was seriously off. She was sitting there, staring into space, like she just saw a ghost or something. Not exactly a warm welcome, if you ask me. She looks up at me with this cold, distant expression and says, "Sit down, we need to talk." Okay, that never leads to anything good. You know how it goes. I sit down, trying to play it cool, but my heart's already racing like crazy. Like, what the hell could she want to say right now? I'm already bracing for some bad news. Maybe she crashed the car or something. But no, it's way worse than that. Out of nowhere, she drops the bomb. "You're not my biological son." Boom. Just like that. How's that for a casual dinner conversation, huh? If you think I was shocked, you've got no idea. I felt like the ground just disappeared from under me. Sitting across from my mom, hearing that bombshell, it felt like someone had sucker punched me straight in the gut. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. My brain was completely fried. The only thing looping in my head was, what the hell? Is this some kind of joke? I mean, I'd always thought she was messing with me in small ways, but this? This was next level. Like, hold up, I'm not her real son. How the hell is that even possible? She's been there for everything. Every scraped knee, every awkward school dance, every damn bad decision I made. She was right there. And now, out of nowhere, she's telling me I'm not who I thought I was? I swear, I felt like my entire life just flipped upside down in one sentence. Plot twist of the century, right? I finally managed to croak out, "What are you talking about?" My hands were sweaty, my heart racing. I felt like I was in some weird soap opera, where everything you knew turns out to be fake. Mom took this deep breath, like she was carrying the weight of the world in her eyes. Yeah, they started welling up with tears, and here I was thinking I was the one having a mental breakdown. Turns out it wasn't a joke. It was all true. She told me I was adopted when I was about 2 years old. My biological dad? Total mystery. Dude never even showed up. My real mom? Oh, she just vanished right after dumping me at a hospital. Nice, right? I couldn't believe my ears. It felt like someone had just ripped the rug out from under me, and I was left falling into this endless pit of confusion. Everything I thought I knew about my life, yeah, it was all a lie. Every childhood memory, every family tradition, fake. I sat there, completely stunned as my entire world started crumbling around me. And somehow, deep down, I knew this was just the beginning of the nightmare. After that conversation, I couldn't sit still. I swear, it felt like the walls of my life were closing in on me. Everything around me, photos, memories, even the damn furniture, felt fake as hell. Like, was my entire life just one big lie? How do you even process that? My mom said she kept it from me to protect me, to not hurt me, but seriously, that just made it 10 times worse. What? She thought this wouldn't screw me up? I started going through anything and everything that could give me a clue. Maybe some piece of my past I missed? I found this old photo album in the back of a dusty closet, and at first, I thought I was onto something. But then I noticed something weird. The pictures? They only started when I was about 2 years old. Nothing from before that. It was like the first 2 years of my life were completely erased. A total blackout. I had no memories from that time either. Just a giant, gaping void where my early life should have been. Now, I'm not saying I expect to remember every single detail from when I was a toddler, but come on. Not a single flashback, not even a hazy memory. That hit me like a slap in the face. Something was seriously wrong here, and my gut told me Mom wasn't being 100% with me. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more she wasn't telling me. So I decided to confront her again. What the hell was she hiding? I asked her if I had any biological family, anyone still out there. And you know what she said? Oh, she hit me with the whole, there's a dark story behind your birth routine. But then she clammed up, like I was asking for the Pentagon secrets. A dark story? What does that even mean? The more she refused to talk, the more my mind spiraled. Was I some kind of government experiment gone wrong? Born into a cult? Dropped off by aliens? My imagination was running wild, but whatever it was, it couldn't be good. And here's the kicker. She wasn't budging. Wouldn't give me a single detail, and that just made it worse. Now, I wasn't just pissed off. I was scared as hell. When Mom gave me nothing but vague, creepy hints, I knew it was time to stop playing nice and start digging for the truth myself. I mean, how hard could it be to find out who the hell I really am, right? I wasn't going to just sit there and pretend like my entire identity wasn't just tossed out the window. Nope. If she wasn't going to spill the beans, I'd find out myself. First thing I did was submit a request to the hospital, where apparently I was left like some abandoned puppy. I wasn't exactly holding my breath, expecting them to hand me over some secret file with all the answers. I figured worst case, they'd tell me to buzz off. But as they say, curiosity killed the cat. And boy, did I dive straight into the deep end of this mess. What I got was a stack of old, grainy records that looked like they'd been through a flood or two. Half of it was barely legible, but there was one name that kept popping up, my so-called biological mother. And the cherry on top, she disappeared under some mysterious circumstances. Yeah, right. You ever watch those trashy true crime shows where they throw around words like mysterious? Yeah, that's the kind of vibe I was getting. Real subtle. But the deeper I dug, the more twisted this whole thing became. My mom's vanishing act wasn't just some random runaway story. Oh no, this smelled like something straight out of a cheap detective novel, the kind where everyone's shady and no one's telling the whole truth. I started asking around, talking to some of Mom's old friends. Well, the ones who were still talking to her. They all seemed weirdly uncomfortable when I brought up my past. One lady practically ran out of the room when I mentioned my birth mom. It was like they knew something I didn't, and it was pissing me off. Then, just when I thought things couldn't get any weirder, I got the call. It was late, and my phone lit up with some random number. Now, usually I'd ignore it. Probably a scam, right? But something told me to answer, and man, was that a mistake. The voice on the other end? Let's just say they knew way too much about me. Like, who the hell knows what I had for breakfast last week? You want the truth? Meet me tomorrow, the voice said, all cryptic and dramatic, like they were rehearsing for some bad movie. I didn't even get a chance to respond before they hung up. Well, that escalated quickly. So the next day, I head to meet this mysterious dude. My head spinning with a million questions, and honestly, none of them are good. I mean, who wouldn't freak out after getting a late-night phone call from some stranger claiming to know all the dirty secrets of your past? But still, I'm too curious, or too stupid, who knows, to back out now. So I go. And of course, there he is. This guy standing in the most cliché black outfit, complete with dark sunglasses like he's auditioning for Men in Black. Really, dude? We're meeting in a public park, not some underground lair. But whatever. I'm here for answers, not fashion tips. He doesn't waste time on small talk. The guy dives straight in, tells me that everything my mom said. It's only half the truth. Half? As if the first half wasn't enough to mess me up for life. He leans in, all serious-like, and says my biological mother didn't actually abandon me. Nope. She was caught up in something shady as hell, something that got her disappeared. Great, right? So now my birth mom isn't just a mystery. She's part of some dark operation. He claims she witnessed something she wasn't supposed to, and poof, gone. It wasn't a choice. It was survival. My mind is reeling at this point, like, what the hell is this guy even talking about? Is this my life or the script for a bad thriller? Then the bomb drops. He tells me my real family is involved in some seriously twisted shit. We are not talking the usual family drama here. This is something far darker, more sinister than I could have ever imagined, and it's not over. Apparently whatever they're mixed up in is still very much alive and dangerous. Then the guy pulls out an old photograph, slides it over to me like we're in a spy movie. I glance at it, and my blood runs cold. It's a woman, probably my birth mom, with the coldest eyes I've ever seen. There's something disturbingly familiar about her, but I can't place it. It's like I should know who she is, but my brain refuses to connect the dots. "You're a part of this, whether you like it or not," he says, as if I just signed up for a lifetime of nightmares. I don't even know what to say at this point. All I know is that my life just went from a family secret to a full-blown horror show, and this guy in black? Yeah, he's just the messenger. I stumbled back home like a zombie. My mind completely fried. I mean, how the hell do you process something like that? It's like getting hit with a truck full of bad news, but you're still expected to keep walking. Anyway, I get home. And of course, my mom immediately notices I'm in full-on meltdown mode. Moms always know when something's off, right? She starts asking what happened, but I wasn't ready to unload all this insane shit on her. Not yet, but I could only dodge her questions for so long. Eventually, I spilled the whole story about meeting Mr. Men in Black and how he just casually dropped the bomb that my biological mom might still be alive and tangled up in some dark, twisted mess. When I pulled out that creepy photo and handed it to her, though, that's when things really took a turn. Her face. Dude, I've never seen her look like that. It's like all the color just drained out of her in an instant. I swear, it was like her soul just left the building. She froze, staring at the photo like it was about to jump off the table and bite her. And after a solid minute of total silence, she finally whispered, "She's alive?" At that point, I thought I was going to pass out. My mom, the woman who raised me, was terrified. Like, this wasn't your usual, oh crap reaction. No, she was genuinely shaken, and for a second, I almost regretted showing her the photo. Almost. But then it hit me. If she's that freaked out, then this whole thing is way worse than I ever imagined. Turns out my biological mom didn't just vanish into thin air. She disappeared because she knew too much, saw too much, and now I'm stuck in the middle of whatever dark, dangerous game my birth family was playing. "Mom," I said, my voice barely holding it together, "what the hell is going on?" But she just shook her head, muttering something under her breath, refusing to make eye contact. It was like I had just unlocked a vault full of secrets she never wanted me to find. And the worst part? She wasn't telling me anything. All I had were bits and pieces, shadowy fragments of a truth so messed up, even she couldn't face it. So now, not only is my life a complete lie, but I'm also connected to some shadowy drama that's been buried for years, and I have no clue how deep this rabbit hole goes. At this point, there was no turning back. I was in too deep, and honestly, the deeper I went, the messier this whole thing became. It wasn't just a matter of finding out who my real mom was anymore. It was like diving headfirst into a pit of nightmares that kept pulling me further down, and every step I took, it felt like I was being watched. Yeah, paranoid much? Maybe. But I swear, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was lurking in the shadows, waiting for me to screw up. The more I dug, the more people started to disappear. Anyone who knew anything about my biological mom, gone. And I'm not talking about moved out of town gone. I'm talking full-on ghosted. Even the ones who stuck around were dodging me like I was the plague. Suddenly, no one had answers. Hell, no one even wanted to talk to me. It was like they knew something I didn't, and they were all in on this massive secret I wasn't allowed to touch. And trust me, when you start getting the cold shoulder from everyone, yeah, that's when you know shit's seriously wrong. I couldn't shake the feeling that something or someone was following me. Maybe it was just my mind playing tricks, or maybe it was real. Either way, I started noticing weird things. Cars parked in front of my house for too long. strangers making too much eye contact in public. Every time I turned around, I felt like someone was watching my every move. It was like I was trapped in some freaky episode of Black Mirror where nothing is as it seems, and everyone's in on it but you. And the worst part? I couldn't trust anyone anymore, not even my own mom. Yeah, the woman who raised me, who'd been there through every dumb mistake I'd made, every awkward school dance, every heartbreak. Now she was just another question mark in this twisted puzzle. I mean, how could I trust her after she'd kept this massive secret from me for years? Who even was she, really? This wasn't just some family drama anymore. This was something bigger, darker, something that went way beyond missing birth records and cryptic phone calls. I was stuck in the middle of something I didn't understand, something dangerous. And the scariest part? I had no clue how to get out. It all came crashing down with one last message from that mysterious guy. You know, the dude in black who seemed to have all the answers, but none of the good ones. My phone buzzed late at night, and when I saw it was him, I knew this wasn't going to be a, hey, let's grab coffee kind of conversation. No, this was the moment where everything went from messed up to full-blown apocalypse. His message was short, straight to the point, and packed with enough weight to crush me. You've got two options. Forget everything you've learned and go back to your normal life. Or keep digging for the truth, but it'll destroy you and everyone you care about. Talk about an ultimatum, right? Basically, the guy was telling me to stick my head back in the sand, pretend none of this ever happened, and live out my days like the clueless idiot I'd been for 24 years. Or I could keep going, keep tearing open this festering wound of lies and secrets, and watch as it swallowed me whole. And not just me, everyone around me. Awesome. No pressure, right? The more I thought about it, the more I realized there was no going back. Like, how do you just forget that your entire life has been a lie? That your real mom didn't just disappear, but got sucked into some dark, dangerous conspiracy? Oh, and let's not forget that shadowy forces are probably already tailing me, just waiting for me to slip up. Yeah, sounds like a great recipe for a normal life. But if I kept digging, if I kept chasing this truth that was slowly unraveling everything I thought I knew, what was the cost? Would I even recognize myself at the end of it? Would I still have friends, a family? Or would I be left alone, crushed under the weight of whatever dark, twisted reality I uncovered? The choice was obvious, but it still sucked. Really sucked. I sat there, staring at the message, feeling like the world around me had officially gone off the rails. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt the same. My house, my mom, my job, all of it felt like a bad set for a life I didn't belong to anymore. My entire reality had shifted, and now? I was standing at the edge of the abyss, trying to figure out whether to jump or step back. But here's the thing. I'd already jumped, hadn't I? There was no turning back. I was in this now, knee-deep in lies, shadows, and secrets, and if there was one thing I couldn't stand, it was being left in the dark. I needed answers. I needed the truth, no matter how twisted or dangerous it was, so I made my choice. I was going to see this through, come hell or high water. And if that meant everything around me would burn, well, so be it.